And recently I saw a photo comparison of Ronaldo, current Ronaldo, and old Ronaldo side by side at age 39. The Brazilian Ronaldo.
The one with the long teeth?
I don't know if I would characterize his teeth as long.
Hi everyone!
G'day!
Welcome back to IELTS TRANGBEC. Today we are together doing a very tricky and common topic in IELTS, sport. For some people who love sport, like me, I'm a sports fanatic. That should be easy, but for someone who doesn't have any interest in sport, that would be very tricky. So when it comes to sport, the first person that springs to mind is none other than my friend here.
Wayne.
From?
Australia.
So would you mind introduce a bit about yourself so people know who you are?
So, as I said, my name is Wayne. I'm from Melbourne in Australia, but I've been living in Vietnam for almost 5 years now. I'm a grade 11 and grade 12 literature and maths teacher. And on the side, I also love to play a lot of sport and also coach a football team too.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to be with him today because he's like football is his strong suit, and it seems like you are a very like sports fanatics. Is this a nice way to say?
Absolutely. I love to play sport a lot. I'm a competitive person.
Wow.
And I love to get together with friends and watch sport too.
Wow. So how many sports have you tried so far, and what's your most favorite one?
Tried so far, probably at least 10 or maybe more.
Wow.
Now I play 4 sports regularly, and those are Gaelic football, which is Irish football. Gaelic football. Gaelic football, yeah, which is Irish football.
Right.
I play netball. I play netball, yeah. I play Australian football, which is different to the normal football, and we can talk about that more later. And I also play soccer, or as some people refer to it as football.
So now you are working in Saigon. So he's based in Saigon now, and I'm very lucky to meet him in Hanoi to interview him for the sport topic. So should we crack on for some interesting questions about sport?
Absolutely, mate.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, right. So number 1, why do you enjoy watching sports?
So sport for me is just a great way to get together with friends and enjoy and focus on something together.
Right.
It's always a very fun time, and sometimes I find it difficult just going out to talk with friends for hours on end, but if we've got something to watch like sport, it's a lot easier for me to be social in that sort of setting.
So like I feel like you want to socialize, and sports is a good way to help you to connect with more people. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a mutual understanding point for many people, and it's easy to discuss football or soccer or anything with someone that I haven't met or someone that I am not familiar with, and we can bond over that. I find it a really
Like
easy,
instantly, like effortlessly.
absolutely, like such a good starting point.
Right. Is there any sport that you have watched but you haven't played in your life?
There's a few. Probably now the sport that I watch the most and have the most interest in that I don't play is basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, so I find it very entertaining. It's obviously huge in America, and it's really popular here in Vietnam too. And what I like about it a lot is that there's so many games during the season. You can basically every day of the season just turn it on and there is a match happening, which does make it difficult to keep up with it, but it's also one of the best parts about it.
Wow. So I have a lot of students like they are basketball players, and they love basketball. It's like basketball is their life.
Yeah.
I have one Korean student. He's mixed. He's Lee Ha-hoon. Hi Lee. and he's joining the National Football Association in Vietnam now. So finger crossed he will bring the trophy back. But I feel like basketball is a new wave for a lot of young teenagers in Vietnam. Don't you feel so?
Yeah, I see a lot of Vietnamese playing it out on the streets. My students and at school, they're always playing on school break times. So I think it's getting more and more popular. All throughout Asia, there's even now former NBA players that are competing in Asian leagues now too. So I think it's only going to continue to grow.
Is this like the National Basketball Association?
Yeah.
Right.
And in America. Yeah.
How about in Australia? Is basketball popular like in Vietnam or in America now?
It's popular, but it's not as popular as other sports in Australia.
Right.
Australia has its own national league, which is pretty good, not as high up as it is in the US, and there's a lot more money to be earned playing in the US. So the best Australian basketballers, when they're at a younger age, they'll move to the US in the hopes of being drafted by an American team, because that's the pinnacle of the sport, so that's what they want to go into.
Right. What do you mean by the pinnacle of sport? Like the top, the highest point?
Yeah, it's the highest level
Pinnacle.
of basketball is in America. So if you want to be the best, if you want to compete with the best, then your journey at the moment is going to America to play.
Right, like the National Football Association.
Yeah.
Right, interesting. So there's a lot of like debate or like topics they are asking about why do so many athletes join the advertising industry? Are we talking about the sports sponsorship? Like how do you feel about that?
Well, I guess the biggest reason, the main reason, is money.
Yeah.
they get
At
a
the
lot
end of
of
the day.
they get a lot of money from it. Even in some sports, especially the very famous competitors, they get more money from their advertising deals than they do their actual contracts for the sport that they play. Interestingly, as well, in America recently, this appeared in the media a lot. Caitlin Clark, she's a basketball player, and Caitlin Clark. She recently got drafted into the women's NBA.
Wow.
And her contract that the team will pay her was only like $100,000.
Wow.
But immediately when she joined, she also signed with, I think, Nike for a contract worth $10 million.
Wow,
So
that's massive.
we can see there exactly why sports players, a lot of them, need to do advertising work, or maybe not need to, but you can see the appeal for them to go into advertising because they can get more salary than what they would from their team.
Right. So do you think that when sport athletes be involved too much in the advertising industry, that is really affect their performance, because it's not like, it's more than like money motivated? Don't you feel so?
There's a money element to any sort of job, I feel, but I don't think they would be worried about it distracting them from their performance. I think most professional athletes, they love the game, and so that's why they play. Some don't. There's actually a famous Australian tennis player, Nick Kyrgios, who has very publicly said that he doesn't love playing tennis that much, but he knows he's good at it and he earns money from it. And some people, like, they see that he's disinterested and they criticize him for it. But what I understand about what he's saying is that it's just an opportunity for him, and he doesn't have to love tennis to play it, and he's not always going to be at his best, but it's a job for him and he treats it like that, and I think that's okay.
You seem like a very compassionate person in the way you're explaining, and I'm very sympathized. Look at them in a very tolerable anger perspective, like to put yourself into their shoes and think in that way. Yeah, that sounds nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What's the most popular sport in Australia and why?
Okay, it's actually pretty contested as to which is the most popular. Contested, meaning there's a lot of sports that are very popular, and so it's difficult to say which is the number one. In terms of at a professional level, the Australian Football League is the biggest in Australia. So Australian football is very different to football or soccer or rugby or American football. You get to use your hands and your feet. You kick the ball, you handball the ball. Handball. So you hold the ball in one hand and you punch it out of the hands with the other one. It's played on a massive field, often fields that are used for cricket too, another popular sport in Australia. But Australian football, very physical, And what I love most about it is that it's a sport for anyone. You need tall players, you need short players, you need quick players, you need strong players.
Right.
So, whereas if you look at a sport like basketball, if you're under 6 foot,
Luckily, I can never play.
It's impossible to play at a high level. That's just the way it is. But in Australian football, there are short players that are very good. Yeah.
Right.
So that's one thing I love most. So I play Australian football myself here in Vietnam for the Vietnam Swans, and I also coach the Vietnam Swans ladies team as well.
Wow. So is the stadium bigger than the football stadium?
Yes, absolutely. So an Australian football field at the highest level is about 150 to 180 meters long, which is really big, and quite wide as well.
Wow, interesting. Do you think that professional athletes are good role models for young people nowadays? Actually, speaking of role models, they ask a lot in IELTS speaking part 3, also for writing. They say a lot about the role model, and they say sport athletes, are they the good role model for young people or not? So what do you think?
So I think firstly it depends on which athlete.
Yeah.
There are some great...
Who's your favorite?
My favourite athlete? I've never been asked that question before.
Right.
I would have to say at the moment an Australian football player called Dustin Martin.
Dustin Martin.
Yeah,
right.
But I also don't think he's the best role model. So yeah, there are some sports players that make excellent role models, some that they don't. And I think it's a touchy topic and a difficult topic to answer for famous people, not just sports stars, because they don't ask to be role models. It's just something that comes along with the job. And
people just idolize them like...
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they do need to be careful and responsible with their actions and their words. And to link back to a previous topic we discussed, it can have effects to things like their advertising. Those deals very commonly fall out because of misbehaviours from sports players. So I think, yes, they do need to be careful because they are viewed as a role model.
But I see everywhere.
Yeah, but I also think that it's not always entirely their fault, and they need to be able to enjoy themselves as well.
Is this the implication that they use support for some of their this demeanor?
They need to be able to enjoy themselves. Yeah, so I understand what they're doing, and it's not always them that are publicising it. Like you said, it's the paparazzi, it's people following them around
people
that
nitpick them.
Yeah, they're at fault for broadcasting that to younger people, and I think there it also comes into play that the parents need to make sure that their children, if they have social media, they're following the right people, that then they're not engaging with sports players or famous people that are clearly, publicly doing things that aren't appropriate for young kids to see at that age.
Right. So, what is the biggest sport events at the moment?
The Euros are on at the moment. I'd say that's the biggest sporting event. There is also the Cricket 2020 World Cup. But for me, I'm more interested in the Euros in football.
Yeah, right. Who's your favorite football player now, and who would you think is the best role model for young people now amongst all the football players in the different football teams now? What do you think?
I guess so. I'm Australian and I support Australia when they are playing. Obviously, we don't compete in the Euros.
Yeah.
When it comes to a tournament like the Euros, I will support England normally.
Right. Coming home. It's coming home.
Yeah, it's coming home. And I follow a English football team, Fulham. They're quite a small club. They've had a few Australians play for them over the years. At the moment, probably my favourite football player. Oh, tough question. No, I'm gonna go for a Fulham player from my team. I would say Paulinho. He's a Portuguese centre defensive midfielder.
Wow.
He nearly left.
He's playing now?
Yeah, he's in the Euros. He nearly left Fulham to go to Bayern Munich last season, but he stayed for now.
Bayern Munich. Is he from Germany?
No, he's Portuguese.
Yeah, but Bayern Munich is from Germany.
Yes, that team is from Germany.
Champion.
Yeah, so that's where Harry Kane is playing now.
Also Harry Kane in there?
Yeah.
Right.
After he finished with Tottenham. Yeah. But yeah, I will be cheering England on in the Euros. Rooting for, barracking for England, but they haven't made a good start. Interestingly, they drew with Denmark last night.
They what?
They drew with Denmark last night. Drew.
Like 1-1.
1-1.
Ah,
yeah.
right. But if 0 and 0, we say nil.
Yeah, but you can also say they drew. It was a draw. They drew.
Right.
So England drew 1-1 with Denmark last night. In the previous World Cup, Australia actually beats Denmark. So
don't say that.
Maybe that means Australia is better than England.
People would not like you after you say that.
No. I know we're not, but we compete. We play hard. We play a very Australian way.
Yeah, right. For me personally, I'm rooting for CR7.
Still,
massive fan. I know, but I mean, like at this age, is it like I don't really follow or watch all the football matches that he play, but I feel like for the people of his age, but still he's a captain now, right? Is him?
Yeah.
Like he's a captain now and still join the Europe and still can finish the 90 match.
Yeah.
Give the inspiration to people and still look so good, right? He's look good at his age, so my role model.
Yeah, it would be an incredible achievement if he won the Euros at this age.
Yes.
It's interesting. There's there was another famous footballer called Ronaldo from Brazil.
Right.
And recently I saw a photo comparison of Ronaldo, current Ronaldo, and old Ronaldo side by side at age 39. The Brazilian Ronaldo.
The one with the long teeth?
I don't know if I would characterize his teeth as long.
How does his look like?
He doesn't have much hair.
No hair?
No.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Like the long teeth.
Okay. But there was a side-by-side photo of each of them at age 39. Right. And Cristiano Ronaldo still incredibly slim, six-pack, super fit, and then the other Ronaldo, which is fair enough, he retired, so he's enjoying himself. But to be that fit and to still be so agile and quick at that age and playing at the highest possible level is incredible.
Right. And also I feel like normally at the people at his age, like David Beckham, he moved to work as a football coach or something. He doesn't play anymore, right? But then Cristiano Ronaldo, forgive me for my pronunciation of his name, although I'm a massive fan of him. Like at that age, it's still something like we really look up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So interesting fact. So now we are still in the elimination round of the Euro, right?
Yep.
So the last question: who would you root for? Which team would you root for to win the Euro this year? And what would your guess for that? And then when we look back at that video clip, we'll see.
See if I was right.
Will be the correct one.
Okay, so I'm still going to keep cheering for England.
I still what?
Keep cheering for England.
Keep cheering. I have England as well.
Yeah. So keep cheering for them. I think Germany will win.
Not Portugal?
No, they haven't got enough depth in their team.
Wow.
I would love to see a smaller nation win it, of course.
Slovakia?
Yeah, Slovakia. It's always good when the underdog wins as well. So Slovakia, Albania, someone get through. Would be great.
So we have underdog.
Yeah.
And then the strong team is the opposite is.
I would use powerhouse. Powerhouse. Yeah, they are a powerhouse of the competition. Yeah.
Wow. So this is a football dictionary.
Yes.
I can ask him anytime. When I don't understand about football.
Sure.
Thank you so much. It's a good fun to have a chat with you, and I'm sure student benefits a lot from that. For someone who don't like sport, you have any advice for them?
Give it a shot, even if it's not. I know team sports can be intimidating. You don't want to let down people, but there's lots of individual sports that you can try as well, or even just people think of sport as always this super competitive thing. There's lots of like social sports that are there just for having a bit of fun. So you can get involved in those as well, and just give it a chance, and you might love it.
Yeah, give it a go. This is the message of the podcast today. Thank you so much, Wayne.
No, my pleasure.
Wayne. Okay. I'm sorry, your name is so difficult to say. Right. So thank you so much, Wayne, and for sharing your valuable knowledge. It's a good fun to talk to you today, and I'm sure the audience will benefit a lot. 5 benefits of going to gym every day. Number 1, you can sleep better. you can fall asleep much faster. Like it just takes me like 5 minutes to fall into sleep very easily. Tức là các bạn sẽ có cái giấc ngủ sâu hơn và đặt lưng một cái là có thể ngủ được luôn. Lợi ích thứ hai, number two, more you do exercise every day, if you do regularly, it can produce. Hi everyone. Should we say hi at the same time?
Okay.
No, you don't need to say hi, but like hello or bonjour, whatever.
Yeah.
How to say in Australia?
G'day. G'day.
Yeah. You say like that. You say like that. So today I'm going to film. We are in the what is the name of the coffee shop? Hachimi. Okay, go ahead. Very beautiful place. Beautiful coffee shop. Feel like you are in nature.